Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Tuesday, September 10th, 2024 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is the universe activates where I aim my focus. So speaking of hocus pocus focus, I have two stories of focus. Gone right, gone wrong, I don't know. Good or bad, I don't know. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, I work at my friend's restaurant and I make juices. And it's a lot of chopping. And I was chopping beets and my mind was just free falling. And in my mind, it was like, oh, what would happen if you chopped your finger? Why would the mind do that? Why? But it did. It did, because it was flying monkeys, right? And then literally seconds later, chop my finger. It's very light. It's a very light chop. But I was like, wow, how's that for instant manifestation of my focus? And the other thing was, I had been driving by a restaurant like last week and been like, and there was some of our local police there, and I was like, it's so interesting. I guess they just don't like health food because I never see them come in there. And today, a cop showed up and I was like, wow, my focus is working overtime. I better really keep it on a leash. Keep the brain on a leash. And so I am sharing that with you because, wow, this focus right now, it is hocus pocusing. And because the eye of the tiger showed up in the cards again. And the eye of the tiger is like, which direction do you want to go? What it is that you want. Because, wow, it's showing up pretty fast right now. And that might just be my instruction right now. But I figured it's worth sharing because I do know the importance of focus, even if I feel like my brain is like a husky dog. If you've ever had a husky, it doesn't matter how much you fence them in. They find their way out and they're like, I'm free. I'm going to go everywhere. So anyways, today, speaking of freewheeling minds, we have the moon in Sagittarius. And the moon in Sagittarius likes to investigate all possibilities. So anything's on the table with the moon in Sagittarius. But if we can focus that possibility energy, utilize the energy of the focus from the Virgo and the energy of pure potentiality with the Sagittarius, you can actually go much farther with the energy that it would take to chase your husky mind around. So keep that in mind today. So today we have the moon connecting with Venus, with Saturn, and with the sun and the moon. And this moon connecting to Venus and Saturn is opening us up to a Saturn and Venus Lilith inconjunct, because Venus and Lilith have been hanging out very close to each other in Libra, and Lilith is teaching Venus, like, you can have a beautiful life, you can treat people beautifully without being a people pleaser, without trying to make peace outside of yourself all the time. And it's interesting that it's connecting into Saturn in this inconjunct, because I feel like this is breaking some of these yin patterns from lifetimes that have left the yin energy in survival mode and not really able to receive. So that's going to be tomorrow, but it's definitely getting activated today as the moon connects in. And I think the moon connecting in is like, hey, if you were to lean into your yin, this is for anybody. This is for, any gender. If you were to lean into the yin, into the receptivity, what would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? And I feel like the Saturn portion in Pisces is like, there is some dharmic lessons for us. It's actually dharmic to be able to lean into receptivity and allow ourselves to receive beyond thinking that we need to activate and do all the time. Now, speaking of that, it's interesting, for the Divine Abundance card that I pulled today, I actually pulled Divine Abundance, and it has, looks like Lakshmi on there. And it says, you were born to align with love's will. Follow the Tao and serve something beyond the ego. Learn to be abundance and not chase it. And I feel like this is the spirit of these yin energies that we need to learn and lean into. Now, the moon feeding into Venus, this is a sextile. It's a happy connection. It's a supportive connection. And so, again, see where you can put something out into the universe. Like, okay, universe, I'm embodying divine abundance. Show me what that looks like for me. And see what happens. You know, that would be a great intention in the morning to align for yourself. The moon and Saturn is a little bit of a square, but I think this is a reminder. Pisces is always such a good reminder that the way we think things are going to turn out or look like, it's not always that. And sometimes we can be disappointed by it, but I promise you the universe is always steering you in a better direction. And can you trust that? Can you trust the divine intelligence, the divine cognizance, the divine consciousness of the universe, that all of these pieces are falling into place as they're meant to? But that square might be a little challenging. You might feel a little frustrated by that, by the divine unfolding. We also have the sun and the moon in a square. So here we have another one of these square energies. This kind of gives us a mutable T-square, which can be a little bit confusing. In this case, again, the feeling that I'm getting, I mentioned this the other day, whose rules are you following? Are you leaning into the divine? Are you honoring pure potentiality? Are you letting fear and worry dictate how you are moving, how you are taking action? And if you are, how can you shift that to love instead of fear and worry? Like I mentioned, we are building into this Venus, Saturn inconjunct that's going to be happening early Wednesday morning. This could show up in dream time, some of the dharmic implications, and even some of the, I don't want to call it instruction, but guidance, better word, guidance to how you're meant to show up, because I don't think that we have all that many. We have some, but I don't think we have all that many examples of what it looks like to lean into the yin. I think both the highest calling of yin and yang are looking for examples of how does it work? How does this work on healthy layers? So do be listening for that energy and watch out for the instant manifestations. So I love the success card. I have the tiger. Keep working on corralling the husky mind. If your mind is like mine, Tarzan, husky, those are just some of the things that I like to compare my mind to. But I have the tiger. It knows where it's going. It knows its prey, and it's patient about it. Receptivity. We have this in reverse, but learning to receive and holding space for that, and knowing the universe loves to give to us. In fact, it's going to give to us maybe a wolf cat. Oh, I think she went in the different direction. We've got the sharing card. And I think this is what fulfilled yin energy looks like. It is a light. And if you are feeling depleted, it means that maybe you're overdoing just a little bit. Oh, she's going away. I was going to see if I could shift the camera. But this is a card too of like letting what naturally flows from you flow from you. I think that's part of being in balanced yin and yang energy. What wants to flow from you? What can you share? Interesting, clinging to the past is coming up. It is reversed, but this feels like this Lilith piece. It feels like the Saturn piece in this case. Watch for those old patterns and where you're still dancing with the old patterns because you haven't yet vibrationally aligned with new patterns of allowing receptivity. I know this is a big one for me. Like, I definitely can fall into those old patterns. And finally, I have the postponement card. And, patience, patience, patience. Eye of the tiger. That's part of the path of the tiger, is the patience and not giving up and falling into old patterns because it's not showing up like you think it should in this moment. I'm going to show you the Divine Abundance card one more time because beautiful. And that last line, learn to be abundance and not chase it. So, speaking of not chasing it, you can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Eclipse readings, I'm doing them through this week. Our eclipse is actually going to be a week from today. It's the 17th. So we are definitely moving into some strong influence of it. Be aware of that. Again, focus your thoughts, but also trust the universe. It does know what it's doing. So, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and remember who you are, for you are the solution. Namaste.